And forgive me, I'm just going to do a couple more shout outs to some of our class that I promised early on. One, I do have to say thank you to our color guard from USF. Thank you, USF color guard. Another great partnership that we have. Susan Gilliam. I know Susan has, I think, the record number of guests, and one of her guests came all the way from Rhode Island. Is that correct, Susan? Susan, congratulations. Our next speaker is a Marine. If you noticed, we're Marine heavy this year. From our biochemistry department, Ricardo Martinez is one of our student leaders as well, and he would like to share his story with you at this point. Ricardo.
I won't look silly in front of my family. There's a person who always tells me what I want to hear. It's always the truth. Come on, me meet him out there.
Thank you.
I told you, it's always the truth. We've made it. Finally. We did it for the mamas, and we did it for the papas. And I see a bunch of beautiful mamas out there. Raise your hand if your son or daughter is graduating today. Ladies, this is your month. Consider our graduation a gift and the first return on the investment that is motherhood. We love you. Perhaps our most distinguishing feature as we stand before you in a couple of minutes, and you'll definitely notice after I tell you, will be our age. For many of us, our fleeting 20s are hanging on for dear life like the hairs on the chin of a beaver. And for some of us, the doves have flown away. The folds in our eyes from when we smile are beginning to set in permanently. But why such a preoccupation with time? You must be wondering. You see, when we decided to further our education, some of the people we went to high school with were already graduating college, and we were just beginning. The majority of us here didn't take any classes when we were serving, and so we started at the bottom, the way bottom. We were so far down the ladder that we had to add 1 or 2 more years to our education, playing catch up just to be at the regular bottom. We began to perceive ourselves as too behind or too old to start school. We began to measure ourselves by the accomplishments of the peers of our former selves. Selves we no longer were, people we no longer are. When we finally got to San Francisco State, we realized that our fears were true. Damn, we are too old to be here. We descended into this wild and we felt lost. Fierce lines amongst our food, and we were scared. How can we possibly compete with these 18 and 19-year-old kids, we asked ourselves. In our classes, we were usually the oldest person there besides the professor. Sure, you saw some older folks on campus. They must be some other vets. But mostly, we saw spoiled kids everywhere. Kudos to them. These kids were accepted right out of high school, and we had just struggled our way out of our respective community colleges. They surely must be better than I. To be fair to spoiled kids everywhere, in the mind of a young veteran or old veteran, every non-veteran in youth is a spoiled kid. As veterans, we've been conditioned to feel just a tad bit superior to those who didn't serve. But that was not the case. I felt small. We felt small. We did not belong. It's an uncomfortable feeling to perceive oneself as second best and not feel that sense of belonging or cohesion we grew so accustomed to in the military. We asked ourselves, why am I here? Maybe I should be out there getting a job, helping out my folks, or working to support our very own little families. We thought, man, I need to stop thinking about myself, quit school and work so that mom and dad can rest their tired feet. They've done so much. I hate to see them work so hard and earn so little. But we knew we couldn't be out there. There weren't any jobs for us, not ones that paid enough for ourselves and to help our parents. We never thought about the fact that you wanted us to be here, that you wanted us to get an education. We were so caught up in thinking we were being selfish that we forgot to be students, and sometimes we struggled. But that wasn't completely it, not entirely, not selfishness. No, I think we were afraid. We were so afraid to fail that, oh gosh, why did I even start? We have grown so accustomed to the fact that most individuals cannot comprehend what we've been through, what we've seen, what we've done, that we never bother in explaining it to anyone. You see, we're so much different than most. Deep down to our very foundation that we hide it. We don't seek praise. We mostly crave anonymity. Because to belong, we must not be different. We may walk the same hallways and sit in the same classrooms and drink at the same pub, but we're worlds apart. Age manifested outwardly the differences in our being. These differences made us feel that we did not belong, and selfishness was the excuse we wished to mask our fear of failure. These fears, and yes, we do fear, made us forget who we were and why we belong here. So much so that some of us continue to hide. We had forgotten, but we remembered. It must have been some time after Rogelio and our predecessors got us the Veteran Center, a place to be amongst our own, a place where we could hide in plain sight, a place with people similar in fears and aspirations, a place where we were understood, the place where we remembered who we were and why we were here. We are Marines, soldiers, sailors, and airmen. We were broken and rebuilt to be more than the kids you saw leave one summer after our 18th birthday. We were forged to face our fears and conquer. Our resolve strengthened in the sands of Iraq and the mountains of Afghanistan, on the ships and planes that guarded our brothers and sisters. We remembered that we belong here because there are those whom we would dishonor if our fears kept us from crowning these degrees. They wore our same uniforms and had their own goals and aspirations. They were my friends, our friends. They were my brothers and sisters, youngsters just like those I see today and those I see on campus. They wanted to be here amongst us as graduates, to add a title to the list of those they had already earned. You see, they'll never get a chance to have an office to hang their diploma, nor watch their kids grow and they themselves become graduates. They'll never get the chance to walk in front of our friends and family and hear them say, "My son, my daughter, I'm so proud of you." They gave everything. They were here for a brief moment in time, and now they're gone. We are here for them, our fallen brothers and sisters. We honor them through our achievements. We honor them by graduating today, and we honor them by crowning our future endeavors. We honor them by remembering, and may we never forget. Class of 2014, it is a privilege to represent you in front of our families. I thank you for the honor.